and it's like, oh, righty, what happened here? So we have mutants left on Earth, and nobody knows where they are. And then we do a jump cut to 6 months later, and there's like, hey, 6 months after they called it the what event,
Day,
Day, yes, okay, yeah, they called it Day, and they're gone. I know that there's a reference to Santo Marcos or whatever, or Saint Marcos is like an island where they're welcoming the second coming of Magneto. In the comic books, that's run by Acolyte, who didn't. He made an appearance in here, but I thought he got killed on Genosha because he's in Genosha when that happens.
Fabian Cortez.
Oh, may I get that wrong?
Well, I don't know who's Acolyte.
Not Acolyte. Oh God, what's his name? The other Acolyte.
Fabian
they made him
Cortez is the
dance.
guy who charged him up.
They had him dancing on Genosha.
Oh, Exodus.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so yeah, there's that. In the other news, Graydon Creed was leading in the polls. And then Bishop shows up. He's like, yeah, we got to go in time to go save the X-Men again. And, Bishop had been gone for a while now, too. So we get the fake.
It doesn't
Days
Forge
of
like
Past.
Who are you? Like he hasn't read every he can't he talks to machines. You're telling me he doesn't have like the consolidated history of the X-Men at this point. Bishop shows up and he doesn't know him.
He called him by his first name too. His
David.
Government name. Yeah. Hush, we get the fake Days of Future Past board there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do get that,
And there's your boy.
He's alive.
I haven't heard one mention of my boy.
He's not in it.
He gets morphed. He has a morph cameo. So something you might annoy you is morph power transforms into various heroes and seemingly gets their powers when he does so. So
I heard about somebody big and green.
Yeah, yes, Hulk did make an appearance.
And then I believe he said what morph smash.
Yes. That was when he was talking to Logan. All right.
Yeah. And if they had ended here,
yes, would have been fine.
Probably would have been fine.
Yep, I agree. And again, this is an awesome callback too, but from the Days of Future Past cover, presumed dead, off Earth. Like, I mean, it gives you some of this, and then you're like, okay, so these might be some of the mutants that we're working with when we do come back for season 2. And essentially, you have a version of X Factor here.
Right, X Factor, and the White Queen has just been restored, so they could shortcut the New Mutants because they got Bobby and Jubilee, and they could go into Generation X.
Yep, and Magic is here as well. Colossus is here. Like, I mean,
we've got teased, I think, Cannonball at one point, so they could absolutely establish the junior team could be a major storyline for next year.
Yep, it sounds like maybe there's parts of this that we're like, oh, we're just mad that there was too many cameos. I mean, that's essentially it, really. They didn't need to do it because they had established so much already. They didn't need to go over the top. And I think I texted you or whatever. I was like, they did this as if they weren't getting a second season when we already knew they were. It's like, oh, well, let's throw everything out there just, to say that we did it. But they didn't really need to do it, you know. And it took away, a little bit, not a lot. It just took away a little bit from all the established stuff that they had already done. So, all right. So there's 2 post credits, or 2 times and a post credit. Yeah, sorry. 2 books, 2 series that sucked.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you can even remember them, Hutch, you can jump back in here now because you probably read some of these. So the 2 teams get split off. Rogue, Morph, Beast, Magneto, and Xavier get pulled into the past with the first rising of the first mutant at the rise of Apocalypse. He drops the name, the En Sabah Nur, from essentially this miniseries. And then Cyclops and Jean get pulled into the future where the clan Askani, where those books where they actually raised Cable in the future themselves. And I think it's the Adventures of Cyclops and Jean Grey. These books suck.
Look at that art.
Yeah, the Cyclops and Jean book is absolutely awful. At least
Apocalypse. Rise of Apocalypse wasn't great either.
Yeah, these are not.
I don't think it has anything to do with the X-Men either.
Right, they're just, I don't know what they are. They're just paper waste. That's what it is.
Yeah, so that part, as Brother Beaver said, was like, man, if you had just ended on there, we would have been good. These 2 other scenes Whoa.
There,
Future stories of the X-Men, not always good. Everybody, Days of Future Past, Age of Apocalypse. Yeah.
That's
But
about
you
it.
also have this
Yeah.
and that.
Well, and the other thing too is like the pacing on this show is an issue. Like not just this episode, but the entire thing, because they've jammed so much into some of the episodes. But they have frequently then, taken an artificial break in the story to give it at least some time to breathe before you jump back into it. And I think not giving that time to breathe for, oh shit, where did Asteroid M go? And then teasing two bad stories. Like that's not great. That's when Wolverine and the X-Men ended with teasing Age of Apocalypse, it was like, okay, when does season 3 come out? Spoiler alert, never. But that was like teasing a really exciting phase of a show. That's a good way to end a season. Teasing 2/3 of the story because, oh, by the way, we don't know what happened to Wolverine or Storm unless that's, because in the original series they had the storyline where they were together in the suit of bootleg Days of Future Past from One Man's Worth or whatever. So maybe that's the jump over point, and Bishop's now back from when he was in the time stream or whatever. Maybe that's why they've broken up to tie into those parts of the stories, and they consider that already kind of established. But you're going to tell 2/3, you're going to tease 2/3 of the team's story with bad teases,
right?
While, kind of saying the world is moving on in interesting ways without the X-Men, which should be the main storyline. I think they should have stopped.
It's just, again, whatever. The post-credit scene, which a lot of people missed on the initial run there. Apocalypse shows up to the ruins of Genosha. He finds Gambit's, Queen of Hearts card. He's, and drops the line about death. Now, I guess there are some comics where Gambit did become the angel of one of the horsemen of death. I did not read those.
Yeah, they're
awful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this is in a I got kids and I got a bi-formula phase in my life, I believe. So I didn't get those.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of one of the things that we could see. Either they're going to do something timey-wimey, or Apocalypse is going to bring him back. So we hit that one. Like all of our predictions have not come true, because we were debating whether it was going to be Onslaught or Age of Apocalypse, and the answer was not really either one of them.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Where do we go for season 2 here? Like you could technically do a version of Legion Quest, which leads to, the Age of Apocalypse, kind of, sort of. You could do Days of Future Past, because you did just make that as establishment, at least on the poster there. Onslaught seems to be possibility at this point as well. But you did just establish these, Askani Sun and Apocalypse, and which I don't think anybody would really want to see.
Unless at this point, unless Onslaught exists separate from Xavier, then I don't see how they can do it, because that was the setup and they didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But they've almost, Hutch will get this one because he has read a gang of terrible books. They've almost set up like a West Coast Avengers story where the team is split across time and then they have to like get back together. Like they're just missing out on the old West part with Mockingbird and every pistol toting.
Where's Captain Britain showing up and all that horrible shit too.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna get into season 2, you have a different writer, and then you just put like a classic album on wax here. Like it is no skips really. Honest, there's no skips. Even the episode with Jubilee and
even the Mojo episode is not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It serves its purpose, and it's short enough and it's done in segments. Like, there's no skips.